Guys, deluded, I'm back again. Not gonna be here long. One thing that annoys me is when people attribute young players, or when you see them young players that are at Arsenal for years, Chelsea for years, United, all of these sort of clubs. When you see them there for years and they might be there, they might go on loan continuously, get flown away pre-season, might even be there in the season in the squad, but they're never quite first team. People always attribute it to money and things like that, or young players to money. And I must admit, I definitely don't think that's the case within the last 3 years. To be honest with you, am I saying young players don't care about money? I mean, don't care about money? Of course not. It's a job at the end of the day, and some footballers in general don't care for reaching potential and doing all of this. It's a job. In the same way, me and you will take raises, will sign better contracts. It's a job. If they think of it like that, that's fair enough. I might not agree with it, but that's fair enough. But away from all of that, how comes nobody says these things when you see them third choice keepers at Benfica and all of these clubs, or the ones that have been at United previously, or even Chelsea with Eduardo and that, winning trophies and with no realistic chance of playing? What is said then? What is said for them squad players that never move on to clubs? Who says they're motivated by money then? It always typically goes towards younger players and things like that. Even if you are money motivated, I don't necessarily see something wrong with it, but I just don't think it's true, because how can you say young players in particular are money motivated when arguably in the last 2-3 years now, these players are the most patiently impatient. I mean patient in the sense that they want their chance. These young players have no problems waiting for their chance. What I mean by that is they're being impatient in the sense where if they feel they're not getting chances, they're not signing new deals and going on loans in paradoxes and things like that. Look at Panzo, 17 years of age, moving to a completely new city, living by himself. That takes a lot of balls to go and play for Monaco because there's a better chance. By that logic, Jadon Sancho would have stayed at City and just collected a better contract with more money and them things. He left to go to Dortmund. There's plenty other examples. Nobody says the third choice fifth choice centre halves at Juventus, or any players that hardly play at Juventus. Nobody says they're just about money. It really annoys me. It really annoys me. And obviously, when some young players, when they get to the first team, of course they feel better, that they feel too much of themselves. They become complacent. They do all of these things. But I don't feel attributing motivation, lack of motivation, or motives to young players purely based on monetary gain or loss is fair, because it's not true. Obviously, when you see the likes of Steffi Mavididi going to Juventus, you can question these things, but I don't necessarily think that's true. And it just really annoys me how people just, again, I'm not saying young players don't care about peas, but why is it always young players? Like, why is it always young players that they just say is about money? They never say it about players that have no chance of playing. Fellaini, for example, yes, Jose uses him and things like that, but is he playing the amount of football that he would want to start in games? No. So nobody says he's a money grabber when he signs a new contract at Manchester United. Nobody says this. Nobody says that about Rojo, who has no chance of realistically forging a proper career at United as a legend and them sort of things there. No one says he's just about money. No one questions why doesn't he move on where he can play and things like that. Nobody questions this, especially with squad players. Why is it just young players when, again, it's not necessarily not wrong, but young players more often than not are moving. Look at all of these young players busting out of Arsenal 10 years ago. Oh, Carling, Arsenal would get chances. Remember when Wenger used to play all them sides? They're busting out. Chelsea, fair enough, they're signing new deals, but more time, some are busting out. United people are busting out. Jeffrey Adelaide 10 years ago probably would have stayed at Arsenal for the sake of it. But no, he wants to try and be the best he can possibly be. So I don't necessarily think it's fair to just continuously pander this, he's a money grabber and things like that. But when you see these youth players with flashy cars, assume they're about money. They're given these contracts. Who is not going to sign it realistically? And blaming young players or just players in general of all ages for money in the game is a weak excuse. Do you think if Arsenal was in a top 10, regardless of the lies about winning through harmony and wanting to compete and stuff, do you honestly think if Arsenal weren't making ever much money it is and one of the top 10 richest clubs in the world, do you think Ozil, etc., will get these 200 bags plus? If United wasn't valued at $1 billion or $1 billion plus, I don't know the value of the club, I just know they're one of the richest and they bring in the revenue, would they give Pogba however much he gets paid a week? Because what Pogba gets and what they're making via the use of Pogba, what they're paying to Pogba is pennies compared to the pounds they're making. So to constantly attribute young players, or I keep saying young players in general, in regards to money, it's not wrong, but it's a weak excuse. They wouldn't get paid what they want, what's given to them, if these clubs and people behind the scenes and broadcasters and all these people weren't making cash. They wouldn't do it because it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense, does it? Realistically, I know in life people don't like to look beyond things, and in life we're lazy, but people really need to look beyond stuff and stop questioning and start questioning the right things. Obviously, when you see a young player that hasn't made an appearance and you see him with a Bentley and all of these things, you can ask questions. But he was offered a contract. Who is going to turn down the rise? Who is realistically going to sit there and say, oh, okay, I haven't made an appearance for Chelsea or Arsenal, United City. I'm not going to take 20 bags a week, 20 grand a week. No one's going to do that. So stop, question the right stuff. Again, people are motivated by money. Look at Benoit Suakoto. He openly said football's a job. He don't care for this. He's about peas. To a degree, I don't agree with that, but by the same logic, it is a job. It is a way to escape poverty for a lot of people. Some people just literally see it as a job. They'll stay at clubs for years. They don't care. There's many different reasons, but in particular, young players, I don't like when I just see that if they don't hit success, if they go to a club and it doesn't work out, it's just attributed to money. Obviously, when you see the likes of Islam Farouz, where he could have been decent at Celtic and he left very early to Chelsea, getting a lot of money, which he openly admits. Again, these are not wrong, but to cast that blanket over a lot of them isn't fair in my opinion, and it does quite pee me off. There's nothing more to say on that front. Guys, Deluded, get in the comments, subscribe, and do the rest if you wish. I'm out.